Hello and welcome to the first chapter of the Excel module, in which we're going to prepare and learn some basics of Excel. What we're going to do today is we're going to produce a personal budget worksheet, and this is for a person named Bob Gleeman. You'll see that up at the top here, and this is the thing that we're going to aim for right here. We have obviously the title, we've got the monthly expenses, we've got the months across the top here for a total at the end, and we've got income and expenses with net down at the bottom. And the intention is to help you understand what's going to happen, or Bob to understand what's going to happen to his cash flow from month-to-month basis. Money comes in and money comes out, and there's a net at the bottom, and you'll see lots of negatives as we go across here. And at the end of the day, after the 12-month period, 20,000 comes in, 18 goes out, with about $2,000 left over. So fairly it's positive cash flow, but negatives on the way there and up and down. So I'm going to show you how you build all this beast. We're also going to take a visual representation of the money. This is the monthly expenses. This title I have a little bit of a deal with because it really is the totals for the entire period. It represents this worksheet here, the rent down to miscellaneous, 4,000 down to the 1,200 for the total for the 12-month period. So I don't know that this should be monthly, but more yearly expenses. On the right hand side we have the legend. We've got the rent taking up most of it, and food and tuition taking it up. So obviously Bob is a student, just like most of you out there, and this represents his major expenses as he goes through his education pathway. So let's build this beast. I'm going to start off as if you've never touched Excel before in your life. I'm going to start off a new worksheet. So that's just like in Word, you basically click on a blank worksheet and you are presented with this basically this grid here. Now the grid metaphor, the grid system in Excel is the basis of everything. It all works on what we call cells here. So I'm sitting right here in a cell which is cell C3, and notice that I said the column first and not the row. It's not depicted as 3C, it is depicted as C3. So I'll bear that in mind. The columns themselves go all the way over to the middle of the earth, all the way over to the right. There's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of columns you can have, and the number of rows goes right down to the middle of the earth. Some thousands and thousands of rows. So what we're talking about here is using the top left of a large large canvas, and the canvas is made up of little cells like this. And we're using the top left of that huge, enormous canvas. Not canvas. What's this stuff? Yeah, let's just leave that for now. All right. So let's do some basic stuff in Excel. First of all, I'm going to type my name. All right. So my name is Lawrence, like that, and you'll notice that I've typed text. Now when you type text in these cells, they're always on the left hand side. You'll notice it's bumped over to the left hand side of the actual square there. If I type 1000 like this and press enter, it bumps over to the right hand side of the cell. So the first thing to notice is that Excel treats text, which is there, and numbers slightly differently. Well, a lot differently actually. If I were to take the column, and I'm going to squeeze this column by going in the middle here, you see how my arrows turn into left and right blacks? See that there? So it's white right now, and then left and right. Now move it over like this to cover up the entire word. Lawrence, my name, extends into the next cell, which is E6. Now it really is not an E6, it's just overlapping. Alright, so there's an overlap going on. It starts off in D6. There it is up here in the D6 cell. There's D6 over here. Lawrence, it overlaps onto E6, but it's actually not in E6. If I touch E6 here, you'll see there's nothing up here, but it does overlap. Let's look at the number. If I squeeze the cell down, right, so it overlaps, there is no overlapping. It turns into hash marks. So hash marks, when you are depicted to show that the column is not wide enough, but the 1000 does not overlap into the E8. All right, you see E8 is here, just like it was with the E6, and Lawrence is empty. It overlaps with its text, and it does not overlap if it's a number. So keep that in mind as we go through this. If I was to go down to say D10 and I type apostrophe, all right, so that's that little thing underneath the quotation, apostrophe, and I type 1000 and I press enter, look what happens. It comes over on the left hand side, and there's this little green thing here which tells you that there possibly might be a problem. All right, it is stored as text. All right, do you want to convert it to a number? If I do, it will now turn it into one of these things. So this little notation on the cell is not anything to worry about. Really, it's just a warning that Excel has picked up on the fact that you've entered a number, but you've indicated with the apostrophe that you want it to be stored as text. And that's normal. You want to always tell the system what it is you want to do. Text as a number is often perfectly valid, such as the number of a particular baseball player or basketball player, right? That doesn't have any numerical use as a formula, but it is there as a descriptor. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to wipe this stuff out. So I'm going to highlight. Look what I did there. I can go on to Lawrence, or I can highlight the whole range by holding down my left mouse button and pressing delete. Let's put down the 100 here. Let's press enter. 110. Press enter. Now, when I press enter, it always goes on the vertical. It goes down the way. You can also set up Excel so that when you press 100, type 100, press enter, it moves over to the right cell, the next right cell, all the way over this way. It never goes left, or it never goes up, but it goes down or across. The default is going down. So what I've got here is I've typed 100, I pressed enter, it popped down to the next cell below, and now I've got 110. Watch what happens here with this little fill icon here. Look at my mouse. It's got a white X across here. I take it to the green thing. Well, let me expand this for you in case you can't see it. There, see how it's green? If I put my mouse at the bottom right, look how it turns into a black cross. See that? White and then black cross. Nowhere else on this is it the same kind of black cross. This here is a move icon. See how it's got the 4 arrows pointing around? That means you can move it around. See? Like that. There we are, moving it around. But here it's different. This is a black cross. This is a black cross, but this black cross is different than this black cross. This is a move one. This is a special one. I call this the black nubby. I don't know what else to call it. I think some people call it the fill. Oh gosh. Let me fix this up. Keep the color scheme, but don't show this message again. Okay, run away. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to highlight these two and watch what happens. I'm going to grab the little nubby here. Here we go. Look what's happening. Look. It is taking it up and trending. It's trending it. It understands. Let me undo that. I undo this at the top left, just like in Word. It sees that 100 to 110 indicates a difference of 110. It anticipates that you might want to keep that trend going, and that's why it adds 10 to every number in sequence. All right. So this little nubby thing is magical. If I typed January or Monday, MONTUE, like that, indicating the ways of the months of the week, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to highlight these two with my mouse, holding left mouse button down, grab the little nubby, and look what happens. It understands that I'm using the months, days of the week, and expands it. Same thing with January and February, this kind of thing, right? If I highlight that, do you think it's going to pick up on the fact that we want months? It sure does, all the way down to November. Okay, so this little nubby thing is a productivity tool. The idea is to relieve you of lots of typing and yucky stuff. Let me show you how this can help you with yucky editing. If I type 100 here, sorry, let's go 10. Let's type 15. Let's type 20. Let's go back and see if it understands the trend. 10 to 15. Grab the nubby. 20. Yeah, understands the trend. Look at that. Now, we understood that from these three examples, but over here, we're going to create a formula. And that's the third biggest thing that can happen in one of these cells. You either have a piece of text, such as here, it's on the left-hand side. You have a number that's on the right-hand side. And then there's a formula. Now, formulas generally work with numbers. You can work it with text, but that's a bit too advanced for this part of the course. You'll do that in subsequent courses where you manipulate text with formulas. But in this case, formulas are really just manipulation of numbers. And so Excel is basically a formula building tool. I want to add these two numbers. Obviously I can do that in my head. Obviously I can do this in my head or with my calculator. No big deal. But you want to do this for thousands and thousands of numbers, and you want to make them more and more complex. I'm going to press the equals sign. The equals sign is a signal to Excel that you're in formula building mode. Alright, so you'll see a little equals sign up here in the bar. This bar here is just what you're putting inside a cell. You can put all kinds of stuff inside a cell, including text, as I said here, and I showed you earlier numbers. I'm going to put a formula inside this cell. So the formula is going to be this. I'm going to add these two numbers, the one that's sitting on D7 and plus the one that's sitting on E7. So I start off with an equal sign, I touch D7. Now look at what's happening. Excel kicks into psycho mode. It's got this little twirly blue thing going on, indicating that it understands that you're building a formula with something that's sitting in D7. Alright, so there's the twirly thing indicating that. And in the formula build, here it is up here and down here, it says I'm going to go over to D7, two columns over. I'm going to take what's sitting in there and I'm going to do something with it. What do you want me to do with it? Well, I want you to add it. That's my objective. So I'm going to click add. So I'm clicking the plus sign. And look at that. It doesn't wiggle anymore. It says, okay, fine. Now what do you want me to do? It is actually waiting for an equal sign, an enter. And that stops the formula creation process. But I'm not finished the formula. I want to tell the system, the formula build here, that add 10 to what's sitting in D7. So I'm going to click here, and it kicks into the squirrely mode here. So it's in psycho mode. It's doing the red squirrely thing, saying, okay, I'm now going to add to D7 what is sitting in E7. Are you finished yet? And I say, yes, I am finished. I'm going to press enter. So here we go. I press enter, and it goes ahead and does it. Because I press enter, it goes down to the cell below. So I'm just going to go back up again with the mouse or the arrow keys, and it shows me the results of the formula. Equals D7 plus E7. You can always go in here manually and edit it, and as you click on here, you'll see the colors kick in to show you what corresponds to what. The red to the red, the blue to the blue. Alright? The green is indication of go or finish the formula. You can always change that around by manually going on up here. Alright, I want to do the same thing here, and the same thing here, and the same thing here. So here we go. Equals 110 plus this one here. Alright? 125. Now what I just did there was incredibly inefficient. Alright? It's too much work, too much typing. You're rewarded in Excel by being lazy, and I like laziness. You want to be lazy. So let's use the little nubby thing here to help us be lazy. So I'm going to go back up to the 125, and I'm going to delete it. Alright? I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to say to the little nubby, the magical nubby, learn what I'm trying to do, just like I did here with January, February, Monday, Tuesday, 110 to 100 to 110. Learn what I'm trying to do here and duplicate it. Now what were we trying to do here? Well, we were trying to follow a pattern. That pattern was go over two columns there, add what's over one column from the formula build area, and add them together. So go over to D7 two columns, add what's over to one column to the left, and then add them together. So that's a pattern, and it's really, the little nubby is looking for patterns, and so you've just declared a pattern. And so it understands now that if I pull this down, that it will follow the pattern. There it is there. Go over two columns to the left and add the one that's one to the left. Do it again. It follows the pattern. What's over two columns to the left and add what's over to the one column to the left. Now in the next couple of classes or videos, we're going to talk about absolute versus relative referencing. But for now, don't worry about that. I want you just to understand that patterns is the reason that the nubby is very magical and very beneficial. I'm going to drag this down now, just like this, and it copies the pattern all the way down. Right? Very, very efficient. You do not want to type this stuff manually. It's too tedious, too error prone, and just yucky, especially if you've got thousands of these things. Alright, so that's the basics of what we're going to be doing today in Excel. We're going to do some styling as well, and we're going to create the pie chart as I showed. But right now I just wanted to get you that under your belts. I'm going to press delete. Alright, so let's start by looking at what we're going to aim for here. I've got personal budget worksheet and monthly estimate. So I'm just going to copy those over, and if you're following along and you're trying to do this yourself in another computer, then I want you to actually type this stuff out. Alright, so personal budget worksheet and monthly estimate. So in A1 we've got personal budget worksheet. Notice how it overlaps, like I said earlier, onto the cells in front of it or behind it, right? See, there's nothing in B1. I don't see anything up here, right? There's nothing in C1, but this overlaps. If I was to go on to B here and type some stuff, then that obviously takes precedent, right? And then see the personal expenses hidden behind. Okay, monthly estimates is sitting on A2. Let's get the remaining text that we want to get in here. I'm going to take this one here, copy, and you're probably wondering why I'm not taking total, and I'm doing that on purpose because I want to show you something in a second. Was I on the right row there? Hold on. Yep, I'm A3. Alright, I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to purposely forget total. So I've made a mistake on purpose because I want to show you something. Taking expenses all the way down to net. Copy that, and I'm going to put that on this sheet here. Alright, there we go. You might be wondering when I copy, let me show you here. If I paste this, if I do that, look what happens. See the pasting here on the left hand side? It copies not just the lettering but also the styles, the colors, the fonts, the lining, all that kind of stuff. Whereas this just covers the colors, copies basic text. So it all depends on what your intention is, but this one here, I'm doing it this way because I'm going to show you the coloring and the fonts and the color and the lines in a little bit. Alright, so that's why I'm choosing the second one in. Alright, now this is a worksheet that we're creating. This is what we're aiming for again, and I think you've seen this several times now. I just pressed the escape button to get rid of the wigglies. See that there? Right click, copy. See how it goes wiggle? Well, I went and but I pasted it in the working sheet here, as you saw. And then I come back to it and it's still wiggling, so I'm going to press my escape button to get rid of it. Alright, so just press escape top left on the keyboard or wherever you are on your laptop. Escape, that shuts it down. Alright, so we got income coming into this worksheet. We've got expenses. Each one of those major sections has a total. There's your total. Total for income there, total for expenses there. And net basically means the difference between the two. But I forgot to put total in my worksheet. Sorry, wrong one there. Alright, I forgot to put total here. So the question is, what do I do? Well, just like in Word and Excel and PowerPoint and almost all Microsoft products, there's a ton of ways of doing exactly the same thing. I can copy this stuff down, or I can delete it and re-enter it. Not good. I can highlight the whole area and grab my little mouse thing here. See that? Across, and I can move this around, right? Obviously that's in the wrong spot. I can move it down to say here, and that gives me space for the total. Or I can do this. And this is what I want you to learn, because this is kind of stuff here is a little kludgy, because you never know how, if I move this around, right? And let's say I did expenses all the way across here, and I moved it around, I'd have to copy all the expenses as well with it, and so that's a bit kludgy. So the better way to do this is to take your mouse and go onto the margins here, the left hand area here, not on the white part but on this grayish area and the top part right here. Okay, so the actual line that shows the letters. There's a difference between clicking here and clicking here. Alright, notice the difference. I clicked on the actual cell and I clicked on the C. Big difference, huge difference, massive difference. Here I'm clicking on expenses, or I'm clicking on 7. If I click on the 7, I'm selecting the entire row all the way down to the middle of the parking lot over there. Or if I'm touching C, it goes all the way down to the middle of the earth. Alright, so it's important to understand the difference. Click on the C, the 7. And what that does is it selects the entire row. I'm going to right click and then insert. And that bumps everything down. And that bumping is very, very efficient. If I wanted to delete it, I click on the same row that I want to delete, I right click and I delete, and it bumps everything up. Later on in different courses, you'll learn that if you can go like this, right click, insert, and it comes back and asks you what you want to do. Do you want to insert an entire row or bump the cells down? But we won't get into that right now. If I wanted to bump everything down a couple of rows, then I select 2 rows. Right click, insert, 2 rows are selected. If I wanted to do, say, 5 rows, select 5 rows. That's 6, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right click, insert, and it bumps it. Alright, so it always bumps it above. I'm going to delete these now. Highlight them, right click, delete. So that's an efficiency thing. Now I wanted the word total in here. I'm ultra lazy. I'm just going to Control C, Control V. Again, that's a keyboard shortcut. Control C, Control V is copy and paste. Alright, or obviously you can do the right click copy, just like we're all used to, and then over here, right click, paste. Alright. Okay, let's do the actual worksheet now, and remember we're going to use the little nubby thing, this little thing here, to maximum advantage, because we're lazy, and laziness is good in this particular module. I'm going to type January here, if I could spell January. There we are. Do you think it picks up on that? What do you think? Does it need February to understand the trend? Who knows? Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, it does. It understood. All right, you see that all the way across to December, like that. Alright, so there you go. It's done it for you. I'm going to shrink this down so we get everything on one screen here. December, see, December allows the overlap, see, but October then sits on top of it because it's to the right and it takes over any overlapping that could have occurred. Alright, the wages for this particular person are exactly the same every month. And so rather than type this out, 1000.29, which is tedious and horrible and yucky, I'm going to take the 1000.29, I'm going to take the nubby, and it understands, it's smart enough to understand there's really no trend here that it knows about, and I'm just going to spread that over, and it copies it over. Dividends. Now, students getting dividends is a weird thing, because I don't believe that, but let's just go with the flow here. You're getting dividends, meaning stocks are paying out a certain amount of money every so often, and here it's January and September, $4,000.75. Maybe an old granny gave you that before they kicked it. 4,000.75, no, 1,000.75, here we are. And there was, I think it was August, the other one, right? 4,000.75. And in the middles here we have zeros. And I want you to enter zeros on purpose, because I'm going to tell you that in a minute. Notice what I did there? Did you pick up on that? Right? Do not want to enter zeros. Too much to do. Too much effort. Grab the nubby. Zeros. Enter. Grab the nubby and dump it down. Efficiency is good. Alright, now obviously if I'm doing income here and I want to add up these two numbers, 1,000 and the 4,000, into what the total is, what do we do for formulas? Well, we always start with the equal sign. So click equals, and then we say we want to add this number, B4, does the wiggle line thing, goes psycho. Click the plus sign to indicate we want to go B5 as well, like that. We press enter. And you'll see it comes back with $5,001.04. Now what I just did there is terribly inefficient. Way too much typing, way too much thinking, way too much effort level. You know, look at this. Think of the typing here. Equals, click, plus, click, enter. You know, it's way too much work. So I don't want you to do it that way. That's very, very inefficient. So I'm going to blow this away, touching the delete key to throw it away. And I'm sitting on B6, and I'm going up to this little Pac-Man thing up here, right? I can't remember what it is in Greek. I think it's sigma or something like that. It's I can't remember. But basically it's the Pac-Man world. It chews up stuff, and as it chews it up, it eats it, it gathers it up. So this is the auto sum. And I'm going to drop down to the right, and there's a couple of things that are used over and over and over in Excel. Sum is the biggest one, and so that's the default. So if I was up here and I clicked auto sum, that's the default. It says it's going to sum up stuff. So let's try it. So I'm clicking auto sum. Now look what happens down here with the numbers. Notice where my cell was starting off in B6. I click this auto sum. What that does is it throws in an equal sign indicating there's a formula. It adds the word sum, which means that it's a formula for adding up. It says I'm going to take everything from this bracket, this left-hand bracket, and add up the range of numbers to the right bracket. Alright, so there's a little notation, sum number 1, etc., all the way down. How does it know what numbers to add into this range? It says B4 colon B5. B4 means start off at B4, colon means go to B5. Alright? Start off in B4 and finish off in B5. So really just it's 2 cells. Not a big deal, but you'll see why this is important in a little bit. So basically what that does is it automatically detects above it all the cells that are numbers until it hits a space or a piece of text. There we are there. Then I press enter and it comes back with the same 5,000. Okay, I'm going to grab this now and I'm going to drag this across because basically this is just a pattern. And I told you that earlier in this video that the nubby thing always looks for patterns. And basically you set in this pattern here to summation the range above, two rows above to the row all the way to 1 row above. So it's going to copy that pattern. So I'm just going to grab it across like this and you'll see it duplicates it. So it says, okay, I'm going to repeat the pattern. Sum from C4 to C5, sum from D4 to D5. See, it's up here, all the way across. So the nubby allowed you to do that. All right, let's move down to expenses here. We want expenses here. The rent here is $400.89 every month. Okay, I'm going to pull that across. Okay, food is sitting at $300 per month. I'm going to pull that across. And what I just did here is inefficient. Alright, I did this and I sweeped it across. And then I did this and I sweeped it across. That is too much work. That's way too much sweeping, too much effort. I don't want you to do that. I'm going to blow this away. So I'm highlighting this stuff here. I'm going to take 400 and the 300 and I'm going to grab that all the way across. One sweep, not 2 sweeps. So again, and I keep emphasizing this, but I want you to be as efficient as possible. A lot of you are going to be using this for the rest of your life, every day of your career from this point on. So you better get used to efficiency. Tuition is $1,500. Books are $500 sitting in January, which kind of makes sense for that semester. And then again in where is it? August. August is going to be $1,500 and $500. We got zeros in the middle here. All right, I'm going to grab the 2 zeros, pull them over. 0, 0, grab them, pull them over. All right, entertainment. So the life of a student is entertainment sometimes. So $100 is way low for entertainment, I think. It should be probably in the $500 range for weekend binges. So we're going to pull that over anyway. There's your 100. Car payment. So the student has a car only costing $154 per month, which is way too low, or it's a real clunker, who knows. And then gas is $100. Haha, if only it was. So, and then miscellaneous is other stuff, and there we go. All right. Oh, I pulled these over, didn't I? I was a bad boy. I should not have done that. I'm going to blow these away. So it's $100 a month across, $154 across, gas, miscellaneous, total. All right, I'm going to add up the totals now for all the expenses. This is what I'm going to do. Equals. I hope somebody's getting squirmy. I hope somebody's getting angry at me. I hope somebody's admonishing me. That's a nice big word, isn't it? Juicy word. Admonish. Look at this. Look at all the effort level I'm going through this stuff. Ugh, it's terrible. And I made a mistake and it's giving me crap for it. So, oh, it's not going well. Oh, life is hell. All right, see? That is not the way to do it. It's too much work. It's too... I'm already bored. I'm already error prone. I'm already tedious. All right. Better way to do it. Go to your little auto sum. Click it. It automatically goes up till it finds a space, like I showed you up here, or a piece of text, and then it stops. All right. Automatically sums up these numbers. Let me escape for a second. If I did not have a 500 here, delete, and I did the auto sum. Look, it stops at the space. Alright, so that's why I asked you to put zeros in here everywhere. These zeros are not going to depict in the actual finished chart because we're going to turn them to dashes. But you have to put zeros there to help you with this auto sum to work properly. I'm going to press escape, 500, go down to the total, auto sum, enter. Alright, I'm not going to spread this across yet because again that's too much effort. Net equals, I'm doing a formula here. I'm saying do something with some numbers, Excel, get on with it. Equals, take the number that's sitting on B6 and then subtract the number down here, this 3,000. So it's doing the wiggly thing, it's gone a little psycho, minus B17, the 3,000 number. It says, okay, I'm working on the formula, when do you want to stop? And I say right now by pressing enter. Figures it out. Alright? Now, with this entire blob, I can take the little nubby and pull it right over. Alright? That is a lot more efficient than sweeping it one at a time, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. Alright? It is just copying a pattern. Here's the pattern here for net. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 rows and subtract what is 2 rows above. Equals C6 minus C17. There's your result. Alright, now let's go over to the right hand side here. You'll notice in there, the one that we're aiming for here, the total column is here, so we want to add that in ours. Go up to beside December. Let me shrink this down a bit so we can see it all. I'm going to type the word total. Alright. Now I want to automatically add them all up. Equals. I hope you're screaming at the screen right now. I hope you're telling me that I'm an idiot. Alright? If you're not, then you're not picking up on this stuff. Alright, I am an idiot. I am a total imbecile. Alright? Shouldn't be doing this. I'm pressing escape. What should I be doing? I should be going up to auto sum. Auto sum will then detect all the numbers in the row until it hits a text or a space and pumps it into a range B4 from starting in B4 to ending in M4. Throw it in the brackets and sum up what's in the brackets. Press enter. Okay? Copy the pattern all the way down. Get rid of where you don't need it. Get rid of where you don't need it, and you are done. Alright? So the little nubby thing is your best friend. Get to know it like you know your mother. Alright, next thing we're going to do here is we're going to look at the personal budget worksheet. This thing here is a bit huge. Look at that, it's getting in the way here. One thing that you might be finding is that you sometimes click on this little thing for some reason that collapses the ribbon and you see just this stuff going on up here, and it's a little annoying because you have to click on this to see stuff underneath it. You don't really know where, you can't really find stuff. You can fix this up by either pinning it here, or you can go up here and you can say show the tabs and commands, and that's the same in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint when we get to it. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. It shows everything. So it's a little different than the pinning thing here. See this? There's your pinning thing. You don't see the formula bar, right? So I like to use this one here. Show everything. Okay, just a little side thing. Alright, what am I doing here? Yes, home. We're going to work with the home ribbon for a bit, and then we're going to work with other ribbons. The personal budget worksheet, you'll notice this piece of text is perfectly balanced between A over here and M over N over here. And we've turned it into one cell and we've balanced it in the middle. That's called merge and center. So I'm going to do that with ours. The way you do that is you sit on A1, hold down your left mouse button, scoop it out until you get to the end of the range that you want to balance, which is N1. Alright, let go of your mouse, it's sitting gray, and then click once on merge and center, and it plunks it right into the middle. It combines all these cells, A1 all the way to N1, so whatever number that is, mix it into one cell. Do the same with monthly estimates. Scoop it out, merge and center. If you're able to do that, you get like 2 or 3% just on the Excel exam. So learn that how easy that is. Alright, what we want to do now is we want to make this look pretty. First thing I want to do is show you the difference between, no, let's do the commas first. Look at these numbers here. There's no commas here, there's no commas here. It looks unprofessional. It looks not hazardous, but harsh to the eyes. I'm going to take B4 all the way down to N19. I'm going up to the number area in the home ribbon, and I'm going to click the comma, and look what happens. It kicks in dashes where the zeros are, so it gets rid of those unnecessary distractions. It kicks in commas where necessary, and it kicks in 00 as decimal places after full whole numbers. Okay, another thing that it's done is it's thrown in hashes here, hash marks. And on the exam, for people who are not watching videos, not coming to classes, and basically can't be bothered doing anything, the biggest question I get during the exam is, "Sir, what are these hash marks doing here? Have I done something wrong? Is it time for me to run away and die and cry?" No, this just means that the column is too narrow. Watch this. If I go move it out, it opens it up and the hashes go away. Alright? If I squeeze it, there's the hashes. In fact, I could squeeze a whole bunch of stuff. Let's squeeze this one. Like that, and like that. And, you know, watch my mouse. If I go like this and stretch it out to the right number, it's too much work. It's too much work. Way too much work, right? Too much work. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to hash all this stuff. And when I talk about hashing, you stoners don't get too excited. I'm going to automatically widen all these things, right? Automatically. So again, take your mouse to D here, scoop it out to the end of the hashing area here. All right, and then watch this. This is really exciting. This is very exciting. Watch this. You see the arrows here? Take your arrows so that you got the left and right arrow pointing at between any of the columns. Not this thing. This thing. Yeah, you watching? Not this thing. This thing. And then double click, and it automatically. And you have to do the sound effects too. That's required. You have to actually go as you do it. I'm kidding. All right. So that's an automatic way of what am I talking about here? My train of thought. Widening the columns so you get rid of the hashes. Next thing, I want to use styles. Now, like in Word and in PowerPoint, styles allow you to prettify or make things look nice. All right, prettify is a patented word. If I click on Personal Budget Worksheet and I go to Cell Styles, look at all the good stuff you can do here. And just like in Word and in all the other stuff, Microsoft products, as you hover, it shows you what you might get if you click. All right, I haven't clicked yet, so this is all miting right now. I click on Title. No, I hover over Title, then I click it. Monthly expenses, estimates, I want to make that bigger and a different color. So I'm going to grow it just like in Word. I'm going to change the font color to that one. Should we do that one? No, let's do let's do this one. Whatever. All right, you know the point, the idea. Here, I want to change this to a heading. Cell styles. What shall we use? Heading 1? No, it's a bit too chunky. Heading 2? Heading 3? I like that one. Heading 3 looks like the one to do. Let's choose the total row here. And let's cell style that and use the total style. All right. Let's go to total style here. Oh, you know what? I've done shown something to you that's inefficient. I'm going to undo this. I'm going to highlight the total style, the total row here. I want to apply a style to it, but I want to do it with one click, not two clicks, because I'm lazy. So I'm going to take my control button. So I've scooped out this range here. I take my finger, my index finger. I wish I could point it, show you on the screen, but I can't. I'm showing you my left hand forefinger, is that the index finger? Whatever, holding down the control button. I'm still holding it, still holding it, still holding the control button. You do that after you've selected the first block. I'm doing the second block here. Now I'm letting go of everything, the mouse and the control button. It's highlighted two ranges that are separate from each other, right? They're not linked. And now I can apply something to it. That application is going to be the total style. Alright? Let me do that again. Undo. Scooping out the range. My finger is not on the control button. That's very important at this point. I'm finishing the range. Pressing control, holding it down. Scooping out the second range, letting go of everything. Cell style, total. Net. Let's make that this range, or this color. Accent 1. Let's look at the colorization here. Wages is a certain tone. That's accent 1, 20%. This one is dividends, accent 1, 40%. And you'll see how it does it every other row. So wages, rent, all the way down is going to be used at 20%. So let's do that. So I'm going to scoop this out. I'm holding my control button. I'm still holding the control button. Scooping out all the ranges that I want to have a certain tone. Obviously you can do this individually, but again, that's too much work. I'm holding the control button. I let go. Remember, I'm going to escape because this is where most students make mistakes. I just clicked away to undo that. The way you mess this up is you press control button now. Do not press the control button now. Do not do that because that'll mess you up. Take your first range. Now you've got your first range established. Then press the control button. Alright? And keep it down. Keep it down. Keep it down. And then the last one, keep it down. Then let go of everything. You only press the control button after your first block is selected. Go to styles, 20% accent. There it is there. Let's do the other one at 40%. I'm not going to do the control button thing because that's, I think you get it now. And then we do the last one. Cell styles, 40%. Alright. Expenses, that's to be heading 3 again. And there we go. There's the, well, it's not quite finished yet. Sorry, not quite finished. We haven't done the dollar signs yet. Look at what we're aiming for the dollar signs. I'm going to expand this a bit. Look at the dollar signs here. Dollar sign is at the top of a column of numbers, and then the dollar sign kicks in again when totals are established. Dollar sign at the top of columns, dollar sign during the totals, and down here in the net, the dollar sign kicks in when there is no other numbers before it. So these dollar signs are a sign of professionalism. You do not do dollar signs all over the sheet. Alright, that just doesn't look good and it's bad presentation. So I'm going to go back to our working sheet here. I'm going to highlight this column here, and I'm going to go up to the drop down, and I do not want currency. Currency has a dollar sign that is tight to the number, and we want accounting, which is offset. See how there's a gap between them? Alright, now that'll be more pronounced when we get to the negatives down here, but you want to use accounting. Currency is not the one to use. I'm pressing control button to establish this. Dollar sign, then dollar sign. Alright, so scooping it out. Alright, and then I'm going to go to the accounting. Do not want currency, I want accounting. And there's your dollar sign established. If you'd done currency, let's just do currency for this little block here. Alright, see how the dollar sign is different? It's tight to the number, it's not pleasant to the eyes, and it's not professional, and it's not supposed to be done for these kinds of things. That is supposed to be an accounting dollar sign. Alright, that's the difference. You will be tested on that in the exam. You'll be asked to do accounting dollar sign. People will put down the currency dollar sign thinking they're correct, and they're not correct. Alright, I'm going to stop the video. I need a bit of a break, and I'll come back and do the pie chart in a few seconds, and you guys go away and do something else yourself. Finishing now.